Hey everyone, Mark and Joey here on a Wednesday morning. Wednesday mornings mean PGA golf, but first of all, I just want to mention the website, ultimatesportschannel.com. You got to get there. We've got full sports feed now. You can see every sport. Obviously, we can't cover them all, and we don't like to cover ones that we don't have some kind of good knowledge on, but they're all there. All the stories, other podcasts, you switch off into Fox Sports and things like that. But get there. It's every sport. Set that as your morning page to come up. Take a look at that. We've also got our sponsors who also show where we're seen on different podcasts, both video and audio. So, and we want to thank all the fans. We're now up over 18,000 a day, back and forth, as far as our fans are concerned. Mostly on the weekends, obviously, because in the summertime, all the sports happen around the weekends. There's not a lot happening other than MLB. So we're real pleased about that and really thank everybody for tuning in. And Wednesdays...
sorry, real quick, too. If you want to email us now, ultimatesportschannel31@gmail.com. I will also have it on the website. You can now email us about any of our topics, reviews, or, we're going to do a betting show here if you want more information on that. Just stuff like that. If there's a sport maybe you want us to cover, too, we'll give it a shot. We'll do as much research as we can and do a show on it. So
actually, one of our best feedback shows, funny enough, was darts.
Yeah.
Because people, that a sport? Isn't that a sport?
What?
So anyway, feel free to email us with those comments. That would be great. Helps us improve the show all the time. So we are here on Wednesday, though, and that means PGA. And it's no bigger, maybe the majors, but it's starting to become some conversation. Majors more important than FedEx Cup. Well, this year, $15 million for winning the FedEx Cup. I get the thought that other than historically, which 99% of the golfers never are going to have a chance to win as many majors as Tiger or Jack, the FedEx Cup is going to become that target.
Well, I'll sort of say this.
Establishing the golf for the year.
Golf really wins because they really, unlike other sports that just have their playoffs, they're so lucky they have both now. It was really, when they implemented this FedEx Cup way back in 2007, I mean, who would have thought it'd be this great of a deal and this awesome of a final end to your season? I mean, a time where no one played golf. The tournaments are bad. Golf was really struggling. Now it's maybe one of the most exciting times of the year. But they really have the advantage of 4 big events throughout your season, and then they still cap it off with a great playoff.
Yeah.
So golf is really winning here. It's been great ever since they implemented it back in 2007. And now they keep changing the rules and make it more and more exciting and add more money, obviously, which makes people tune in. I don't care what you say. Even though you're not winning it, makes people tune in to see who does win something of that substantial amount of money.
And it's some big changes this year. Again, this commissioner, he's really,
on the roll, man.
Yeah, he is making all the changes. And I'll tell you what, I like the fact he thinks about the fans. He doesn't listen to the bitching of the golfers.
He said that.
What is going to work for the fans? He shortened it this year. 3 events, which I think is awesome. Wise. Guys are not sitting out like they have done in the past. 3 events. And then you've got 3 qualifications, 125 to get in, then 70, and then 30 to win it all. I love that. Also, some other changes in the point system, Joe. So why don't you talk about, from a golfer's perspective, it's a whole new thing now in the final round. It's actually strokes. And one of the things that's been a challenge at the FedEx Cup is the guy who's won the Tour Championship hasn't won the FedEx Cup sometimes.
Real quick, rattle off where they're starting, then I'll get in on how that might affect the golf.
So what's going to happen now, if you've watched FedEx Cup before, and they came into that last with points, and if any one of the top 5 guys won the event that week, they would win the FedEx Cup. However, we had the opportunity for someone to win the Tour Championship and not win the FedEx Cup. Exactly what happened last year with Tiger.
Well, and ironically, it's happened now in, I think, or at least 2 of the last 3 seasons.
Yeah.
Out of all these years where it really never happened, besides when Bill Haas did this, it's now happened in 2 last 3 years. And I think it was just showing that because golf continues to grow, the depth of players is so far that might happen a lot going forward. So they were looking for a change.
Justin Thomas won the FedEx Cup, didn't win the event. And that got very weird. I mean, we're in golf. We're used to winning the event. At the end, the guy with the lowest strokes, he wins. And that wasn't the case.
Justin Thomas really got no celebration for winning the FedEx Cup. He was on the sidelines and actually done a little early. And, that's just the way it is. Same with Justin Rose last year. It was all about Tiger, yet Justin Rose won the FedEx Cup. So, talk about the new system. It's
a great change they're making. So, what they're going to do now is, depending on where you are in the FedEx Cup, as you arrive at the top 30, you're going to get a lead to start. So,
by the way, only 30 make the final event.
Right, yeah, it's the top 30.
Yeah.
And so, let's assume Brooks is going to be there. He's there now. He's going to start at -10 in the final tournament. So he will have a lead, which justifies him being in position 1. The second place golfer will be -8. Third place -7. Fourth place -6. Then down to -5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And the guys that are 26 to 30, they're starting at even. Now, what I love about this is it gives everybody a shot. Obviously, Brooks is getting an advantage for being in the lead, assuming he's going to be there. But a guy in 30th place could go and shoot 8 under on the first round of the tournament and move way up the board and have a shot at winning. So this is going to be more traditional like golf is. You start the tournament, guys get into position, it's strokes. The guy with the lowest strokes at the end of the tournament wins. In this case, Brooks is getting a head start. That's the only thing that's been hard for people to get their heads around a little bit is getting this head start.
Well, I think it's gonna be
what I love about it, when they're coming down in the finals, the guy who's got the lead and is playing is going to win the FedEx Cup. And I think that's really what's going to make it way more exciting.
Well, and I'm going to tell you some things to watch for that are going to be very interesting. First of all, him teeing off on Thursday at -10 might throw a little some people off. When they turn on the TV, they're going to be, wow, he did that real quick. So, yeah, it's going to be a little different to see Brooks at -10. Now, there's a couple of things here. Obviously, one is that the percentage of winning has gone down for the guys. Because if you're in top 5 on the tournament, you won the whole thing. Now your percentage obviously lower because, while you still win the event, you win the whole thing. Now anyone can win the event and win the whole thing.
And you only have a few stroke lead.
It's the way it starts. It's a few stroke lead. So before, you only have a 2-shot lead. That could be evaporated by the time you even tees off. Well, actually not, because you'll probably be paired with that guy. But let's say third or fourth guy, maybe a guy at -5 might go 5 under through 5, and your lead's really gone. Now, we see that on every day in golf, but it will be weird that you've done all this work to be number 1, and your lead could be gone in no time. And now you're really not playing, where you should be, which is number 1 in the FedEx Cup. So it's going to be interesting to see how that's taken on by the players. Now, I'll also say this. The course is very difficult, so it's very unlikely, and I think that's why they did this, that someone's shooting 10 under at this golf course. This golf course is really incredibly hard, and I'm talking about the Tour Championship golf course. East Lake plays very difficult, guys, so it's unlikely that Brooks will be at -10 start day and will have lost his lead or something. It's very, very rare. That's why this works for me, because I feel like a lot of guys are going to maybe shoot 1, 2 under, 3 under. They're going to need to play a good 4 days to still catch a guy with a 2-shot lead, and that's why I'm not too worried about it. If it was a course where 25 under wins every year, 20 under wins every year, I'm going to be like, this is kind of, bull crap, because Brooks' lead means nothing. But this is a good lead at East Lake where it's very difficult. Now, lastly, here's my biggest fear. If Brooks Koepka goes shoot 6 under in the first day, it could be so far over with 3 days to go.
Well, it would have been anyway. I mean, anyone in the top 5 winning the event would win the FedEx Cup.
But someone in that top 5, first of all, they're starting even. So if Brooks shoots 6 under, someone in that top 5 also shoots 6 under, it might only be those two duo, but you don't know who's going to win. If Brooks goes shoot 6 under, gets 16 under on day 1, it doesn't matter what the guys behind him do. Now he's guaranteed to have, he already have 2. Let's say he shoots, so he's still going to have a big lead at that point. It's easy for a runaway. And that's my only worry is if Brooks outplays the field. Let's say he is number 1. Maybe it's Rory. Maybe it's someone else wins the first 2 events. If they can easily make it a runaway after Thursday, my only concern. But I think it's good overall. I think the celebration's better. And as you mentioned, I think you mentioned already, the purse now is even more substantial because they combine the tournament plus the FedEx Cup.
And $15 million for the winner. That's a 50% increase. But there is no winnings for the Tour Championship.
Right.
So that's the difference. All been poured in the FedEx Cup. I love it. Because like all sports, you got to win the final. You're winning the Stanley Cup, you're winning the Super Bowl, whatever. You need to win to win. And that has not been the case before. Found it always very confusing, and I'm a golf fan. For people that are coming in, which quite often happens when the big events are happening, we'll get a lot of new golf fans or casual golf fans that really didn't understand how one guy wins a tournament and another guy wins the FedEx Cup. It made no sense. Every other sport is you win the big trophy. That's the way it is.
And I got another suggestion, really, and we've talked about this many times. We've gone back and forth because I'm kind of a player's guy, because I'm a player. You're a fan guy. Well, first of all, you've always talked about every other playoffs actually doesn't matter, like where you finish. You just have to play a series. So why should he get a lead at all? You're giving away money for him winning the regular season. Credit to him. You have to have seeded so that, you got qualification for the next 2 rounds. But again, why, now that we're down to the top 30, it's like basically being in the Stanley Cup playoffs. It's not like Boston, because he had the better regular season, got any advantage over St. Louis. So I'm almost on the side now where, they're trying to make it so you have an advantage so that obviously these guys can play. But the way I'm looking at it is, you start from scratch, because guess what, man? You're getting paid anyways for winning your regular season. Every other sport has to start from scratch. They don't get any advantages besides home ice, which really means nothing. It's 1 game out of a 7-game series. I'm almost on the thing of, we'll see how this works. But if it doesn't work, you're grown men. Everyone started at 0 because it's the top 30 players in the world. And I would actually like to see it just really competitive. Everyone at even par. Go out and win it, man. I don't think you should have any advantage. No other sport really gives you a ton of advantage. Football gives you a bye week, so sure, maybe give these guys a bye week then if that's what they want. But I don't know. We'll see how this works out. But I'm either on the side of, I think, hopefully this goes well. Obviously, if it beats you, I think it will. But he's getting paid for winning the regular season. He's getting paid for, obviously, every tournament he wins. Why not the top 30, the 30 best in the world? Let's see him go head-to-head all at even par and let them duke it out.
I don't disagree from a player's perspective on this, but I'm thinking from a fan perspective. We could also have our top guys shoot a really bad Thursday, and all of a sudden they're not. We've seen this before. All of a sudden they're not even in the tournament. I'm watching guys 25th and 30th fight out for the FedEx Cup. It can go either way, but I know golf, because they don't have teams, they don't have that kind of organization where there's a star in every team. They want to make sure their stars are playing on Sunday.
Well, that's true.
That's true. So this is making, from a fan perspective,
should get the top guy there.
I'm always looking from a perspective of the fan side of things. We actually are rebranding our program here to podcast for the fans by fans, because that's what we are. And so I look at it that way. The one thing I love, and this guy's taking steps, which I like, but I'll know who's winning, and I know that the champion will be on 18 at the end, celebrating the fact that they're winning the tournament. Or there might be a playoff. There was never a playoff in the FedEx Cup. The FedEx Cup guy could have been sitting and having a beer while 2 other guys went out to try and win that tournament, but they weren't going to win the FedEx Cup.
The 1 year was kind of cool because Rory was facing Ryan Moore in a playoff, and Ryan Moore won, DJ won the FedEx Cup. If Rory won, he won the tournament and the FedEx Cup. I agree. I'd rather just see a winner, and obviously you have a playoff. It's a playoff for $15 million, not for the tournament and all these confusions. And I do get what you're saying. In theory, putting Brooks at 10 under, even shot +4 the first day, should still be in the tournament.
Yeah.
So you're right, that is an advantage. I think this could be very successful. You're going to have the odd year where people are going to get upset about it because someone's going to run away.
Our favorite sport of football.
Yeah, it happens all the time. It's one game, yeah.
A team at 1 over 500, 2 over 500 can win the thing, get through.
Not only that,
St. Louis Blues could qualify last and win the Stanley Cup. That's just a fact of life.
Right. And not only that, the Seahawks won the Super Bowl 47-3.
Yeah.
So at least in this way, you might get the odd blowout, but it's probably unlikely because, again, they picked a good golf course to do this at. And that's why I think that the commissioners just hit everything on the button. He got the majors together. He's doing this so it ends before football. He's starting the season early for rookies and newcomers.
Yeah.
And he's hit the button even with this. I'm glad that it's a course where it just should be impossible for a guy to reach, even at starting at 10 under. It's hard on this golf course to get to the 20s. Well, I like it a lot. It puts a lot of big numbers in play, puts a lot of guys in the event. And we'll see how it goes. It'll be interesting.
But also, we've seen this season playing with a big lead has been a challenge for lots of guys.
For Brooks.
Well, we'll see what happens. But he could go backwards, just like
he may not even be in the lead.
A couple of events, he may not even be in the lead because somebody could win
even one of them.
2 of them back to back, or the one if he's close enough. You could jump from 5th to 1st if Brooks doesn't have a good 2 weeks. And so there's lots of variables. The great thing, I think, is the fact that there'll be a score, which is golfers are used to watching and fans are used to watching. The winner will be the winner of the whole thing, which will be fantastic as far as I'm concerned, and make that Sunday way more intensified, that you're going to come out with a FedEx Cup winner by the guy who wins the tournament, even though he got a lead. Even though he got that lead.
One rule you should never implement is a stupid wedge off Tiger and Phil had their one-on-one match.
Oh my God.
Don't do that.
Yeah, that was...
that's just a joke. But yeah, I think you're right. We're real excited for these FedEx Cup playoffs. Let's talk a little bit about what's happening this week. So what's happening this week, you're going to have 125 guys, okay? They've all kept their card for next year, so they're all kind of playing a little bit relieved. Last time at this golf course specifically, it's a very tough golf course. Heath Slocum actually won in 2009 from 124 spot. Adam Scott won at the time in 2013. They also had the President's Cup there where Americans kind of destroyed the internationals. So you got to think, they might have a bit of advantage there. From what I know from this golf course, first of all, very rich, very high end. A lot of celebrities. You got to hit the ball well. So check for that coming this week. We love the FedEx Cup. Top 125. 70 move on. Some are going to move in. Some are going to move out. Hopefully we get some dramatics there. But it'll be very interesting.
The challenge of this year with the only 3 events is the jump up to get to the next event's way tougher. Like we're going from 125 to 70 to 30. There was an extra event in there. So the gaps were smaller. So more guys. It's going to be interesting to see whether anybody can actually move up from one category to the next who isn't right on the borderline. Obviously, 5 guys one way or the other could go in either direction. But it's going to be very difficult if you're 125th to jump 55 spots unless you win the tournament. So that is one of the changes that we're going to see what that produces because of the bigger gap, because of the shorter schedule. It'll be interesting to see whether guys are able to make that leap, which they could in the past. Look at Billy Horschel the year he won it. He was in someone's 70th place or whatever. He had an extra tournament to not have to jump 40 spots.
True.
So we'll see what that produces.
Now, and last question, we'll throw a little topic out here. I'm debating, should there be a cut this week? You know, I know it's a lot of guys, but 125.
You can't play
go
weekend.
threesomes all day.
No, my God, twosomes on the weekend, man. You just have to have a cut at this event. Besides, you're cutting out most of the riffraff, and so if one of the guys in the top 30 gets in the cut, then so be it. That's their problem. And but I think you have to have a cut. I do not want to watch threesomes on Sundays. It could be a long enough day as it is in the final round. And now you're getting ready to qualify for millions. You know, the opportunity to win millions of dollars. They'll be slower than ever on the final round. So I don't think we want to back up
Brooks
the threes.
Is out there in the league.
I don't think we want to. Yeah, the problem is that back and
him and Rory. Yeah,
pushing everybody from the back.
Yeah, they probably wish they could be in a twosome first group out. They'd play in 3 hours.
That's a very interesting concept we've talked about a million times. But TV is going to win on that one. But yeah, we'll see what happens there. I think it's going to be interesting that not as many guys move as might have moved in the past. It's
hard to move up.
I think I think everybody in the top 30 now, when they get there's probably almost a top 30 now without a swing of like 5 guys either way, have a shot of moving in either direction. We'll watch that as part of our cut show on Saturday morning to see who's got a shot at that. There's no point trying to predict that right now. It's too far out to really be educational on who might move up or down. But we'll look at that Saturday morning. But anyway, exciting changes in the FedEx Cup playoffs. I love it. I love the fact they're coming down to a champion like every other sport does, and you got to win it to win it. I think that's he's done a lot of great things on that commissioner's spot, and we have loved the golf season. I mean, we haven't as a fan. We've loved it.
Honestly, he should be the MVP. He just made golf so much more exciting this year. There was no point in battling football. You got all your majors. Has done a great job.
Yeah, I agree 100%. So, hey, we're excited. Hope you're excited. We'll be back Saturday morning with the Cut Show, and we're looking forward to some great golf on Thursday and Friday.